Any last words for you in your creative process? Because I know this was about Mark and Kelly, but it was also about navigating the business. Do you have anything else you want to share? Words of advice, wisdom?
I think one thing that I've always said is that if you don't feel it internally, then you're not going to get anywhere to where you need to be. Then you're faking it. And I'm not a fan of fake it until you make it. I think if you fake it until you make it, but you feel it inside, that's one thing because you're just trying to put yourself in the position to make it. But if you're faking it for the sense of faking it and you have no idea where you want to go, then you need to stop and look at yourself and really figure out where you want to go in life. Because if you don't feel it internally, you're never going to manifest what you're trying to portray. So always feel it on the inside. If it doesn't feel right in the gut, don't go for it. Take a step back and see what's wrong. Fix it, address it, move forward.
I have one more thing. I know we're supposed to be done and we're going to be done right now, but this is so important in the world of talk show and production. Russell did a show on Peacock streaming. It was called Create the Escape. It was like a escape room and it had this family dynamic, a really cool show. Go watch it on Peacock streaming to this day. He's a design expert on the show and a host. Russell, tell me a little bit about what you had learned with that experience in the vein of I don't know if you have any stats on you, but in the
Mhm.
vein of like, there's not necessarily always an abundance of Latino television actors or presenters, et cetera, et cetera. Did you learn a little bit of that while you were entering the world of television hosting in that experience?
At the time I landed Create the Escape, there was actually a report released from both USC and UCLA. They do, I think it's an annual report. It might be every 2 years, but I'm almost positive it's an annual report of the percentages of culturally inclusive individuals who are landing in the television space. And at the time, I think Hispanics slash Latinos were right in the 4.3 percentile range of speaking roles and representation on television. So when I landed that role, I didn't know these numbers and the report came out and I was intrigued by it. So I read it and I was absolutely blown away because I didn't realize at the time that the margin was so small and I didn't know that I was part of this like one in like several million opportunity of making this. So when I landed the role, I was like 100% blown away. I was beside myself. I didn't know how I should feel because I was proud. Obviously, I have grandparents who strived to put my parents in better neighborhoods, and then I had my parents who strived to put us in a better neighborhood and to push us to do better than they even did. And I was the first of my siblings to go to college, and I was the youngest. And then, I convinced two of my other siblings to enroll in college as well. And now one will be graduating next year. But it was really a moment of I just didn't land this on my own. There was all of my ancestors and everyone else on my shoulders that this is for them. This is the dream that they all aspire to be without knowing it. This was the opportunity of, we sacrifice so that our kids can have better. And I was this second, third generation of we made it, and now my goal with my nieces and nephews is I can push them so that they can make it even further while I'm still pushing my own career. But I was beside myself when I learned about the numbers, and I was so grateful for the opportunity. And I'm and forever grateful for Sue Side and Christopher Updike and Elaine Kavanaugh for even considering me and me being part of this spectacular television series. Let alone, we know what the percentage is right now with the LGBTQ community. So not only was I percentage of that, but I was a percentage of the Hispanic community. So it was a 2-in-1 shabam. They
Mhm.
got 2 for 1 or what they budgeted for.
Yeah.
So it's just it makes me smile still to think that an opportunity like that would be presented to me. But again, it was the right space and right time, and I was doing something that was selfless for my mom
Mhm.
when the opportunity presented itself. And Shay Holland took a chance on me and just really kind of
Yeah. Shout out to Shay
propelled me
Holland.
into
Yeah.
that position. And then I was propelled to Barbara Barton Abel, and it just all kind of
Yeah.
it all just happened so fast. But again, like it was just believe it or not, it was this group of leading ladies who really got me to where I was. And the visionary of Christopher Updike and Create the Escape being his baby and the project that he was really working so diligently on in order
Mhm.
to get off the ground. And it happened, and it was the perfect storm, and I was there. I
Would you
was the face of a perfect storm.
Yes, yes, and, I like how eloquently you spoke to all that, and I was gonna ask you one thing. I know we are wrapping here, but I was gonna ask you, by getting that experience, I'm assuming it happened the way that it happened for me, like, the year that I did Fuse Television and I had, hosting live TV nationwide, IFB
Mhm,
monitor, director downstairs, stage director, like, the whole thing.
mhm.
It felt so good, and when it ended, much like your project, when it ended, it's a great experience while it happened, but when it ended, I remember like I thought that I would feel like, okay, I sufficed this dream. Now, if I never get back to this space, like, it's okay. But are you like me, where by doing it once, you're like, I absolutely need to work my butt off to have this happen again, because it was so invigorating. It felt like I was like home for the first time. Like,
Mhm.
and I think we've talked a little bit off camera too. I think you've mentioned stuff like that, right? Like, by doing it once, it doesn't say the dream is over. It's like, I want it again and again and
Yeah.
again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and again, so many people have said that this industry is not for the faint-hearted. So, of course, when a spectacular, brilliant project that you're working on ends, and then you kind of have nothing lined up after it for the time being, because things come eventually, but you hit this pit of, oh my gosh, why isn't everybody knocking at my door? And then you kind of regroup and recenter yourself and think not every opportunity is for me, and the opportunities that are for me will manifest and they'll come my way. But you just have to trust the process, and you just have to keep your head down. Not even keep your head down, but keep your head up and just keep doing the work that you're doing, because it will all eventually come to you. And again, if you're not finding opportunities in everything that you do in order to center yourself in the future that you want, you're never going to grab that future. Because let me tell you, unknowingly, I had trained myself to be a presenter and to gain a skill set to be in front of the camera. And so I was recording myself doing my mom's house and remodeling my mom's house. And with the television knowledge that I was trained with in college, it all kind of came together for what I needed to present myself to NBC Universal and Peacock TV in order for this to happen. So just keep doing your work and find all of your opportunities, even in your regular jobs that you have. If you want to be
Hmm.
a television presenter, present all the items that you're selling at the donut shop like they are the
Hmm.
awards.
Yeah.
Let the people know that this
It's
strawberry
true.
filled donut, it has a magnificent flavor and hues of X, Y, and Z. Let them know, because
This
all these things matter.
the skill set is the skill set is the skill set, and you could transcend that to other opportunities. Even this morning, like I did, New York radio for 94.7 The Block with the great Miss Jonesy in the morning. And it's like, you just add all these experiences. And I think to what you were saying a second ago about like how you get there and then you want to keep on believing, so if you believe, you achieve.
Mhm.
It's really great to continuously do the work. That's why even when I get down and out about my channel, like my YouTube channel or whatnot, or what's the direction, I'm like, it's still really great practice. And that, I think, is
Yeah.
the key. So you take what you've learned in YouTube and you take it to the radio. You take what you learned in radio, you put it to YouTube. You take what you've done in live TV, you put it to your next, business meeting. It's all the same. I do want to say one last thing that's so exciting to me.